Hey guys, welcome back to our Bailey Life. Today's video is not just going to be a vlog. I'm going to share some of my own personal tips that I found really helpful and has helped other people as well with weaning your toddler off of night feeds. First of all, let me say that I am not any kind of child rearing expert. I'm a first-time mom, but this is something that I found worked for us, and I shared it with a couple of friends and they all found it really helpful as well. I was talking to someone about it just the other day and it reminded me that I wanted to share this, not only to help other moms, but even just to document it for myself as far as what works to repeat this process again in the future. First thing I want to say is I am all for breastfeeding, and breastfeeding as long as possible, as long as you feel happy and comfortable with it and your baby toddler feels the same way. So don't let anyone else pressure you into stopping breastfeeding before you or your child really wants to. That decision is completely up to you. And also learn about what's natural and don't just go with the social norms. For us personally, Zea is 3.5 now and she still nurses before bed at night, but that is the only time that she does have a breastfeed. But one thing that really made a great difference for us as far as feeling good, especially for me to actually get some bit of sleep, and her as well, because if she's waking up throughout the night to nurse, then it's disrupting her sleep as well. So obviously when they're babies, they need to be fed throughout the night. They need that nourishment more frequently. But once they're old enough and they're eating whole foods during the day and breastfeeding during the day, when you know it's not a question of nourishment, then you can start thinking about whether or not you want to continue breastfeeding during the night hours. Another thing I want to point out is that breastfeeding is not just about nourishment. Breastfeeding is important for bonding, for comfort, emotional needs. There are so many benefits to breastfeeding. So it's also not to say that just because your child is nourished doesn't mean that they need to nurse anymore. But I do feel like once they are adequately nourished and they're old enough, they don't need to be feeding throughout the night, because at some point it becomes an issue of, is it more important that they feed for comfort during the night, or is it more important to their health that they get good quality sleep, and to your health as well, and for your ability to parent well during the day? So that's when I decided that it was time to wean Zea off the night feeds. We did this, I want to say she was probably around 2.5 or so, maybe 2, when we started to wean her off of feeding during the night hours. And it was really just because it was disrupting her sleep, because if she knew that she could wake up and nurse, then as soon as she started to stir during the night, she would wake up because she would want that comfort of nursing. And it was really more beneficial for her to get a good night's sleep. And she adjusted pretty quickly and easily, and once she did, it really helped her. It helped her moods during the day. It just really benefits her to get that good quality rest at night. And definitely for me as well, Zea was never a great sleeper, so for me to be waking up so frequently during the night, I was exhausted during the day. It means that, you know, my health declines because of it. It also means that I don't have the patience to parent her the way that I really want to. You can be more short, more agitated with your child, with your partner, with everyone when you're not getting enough sleep. And for Zea, for the first 2 years of Zea's life, she would wake up anywhere between 5, that was like the minimum, and 15 times every single night. So definitely when she was old enough and she was getting all the nourishment she needed, I knew that it was time to wean her off of the night feeds, because if it's just for comfort and those sorts of things, she can get that at that age. She could get that from cuddles during the night, and she got plenty of comfort and all of that during the daytime. Now let's get to the actual tips. What helped us to all peacefully wean off of the night feeds, peacefully and successfully? There are 2 to 3 most important aspects here that I think helped us be successful. The first most important thing is that I talked with Zea about it before she would go to sleep. This is why it's important for the child to actually be old enough to where they can understand and they can communicate pretty well with you as well. So before, when we would go to bed at night and I'm tucking her in at night, I would say to her, time to go to bed. We're all gonna get a good night's sleep. We're gonna sleep all night. Zea's going to sleep. Daddy's going to sleep. Mommy's going to sleep. And most importantly, the milk is going to sleep. And that was really helpful for her to understand that the milk is going to sleep. The milk is not available during the night. We can't wake the milk up. I know it's crazy. It sounds so simple, but it works. This is why she has to be old enough that she can kind of understand what you're saying. You obviously can't do this with a baby. You can't do this with a 1-year-old, but at her age, she could understand that, and it really helped her with the transition. The second thing that I did is I also said that we were going to sleep. We were going to sleep all night, and the milk was going to sleep, and that we would have milk again in the morning when the sun comes up. Now this is important because if you tell even a toddler, even a 2.5-year-old, even a 3-year-old, if you tell them we're going to have milk in the morning, they don't know necessarily what that time is. Or if you say you can't have milk until 7 a.m., they don't know what that means. But for her to have that visual cue of when the sun comes up, when I see the light come through the windows, that is when the milk is going to be awake and available again. If I wake up and it's dark, sun's not up, the milk is not available, the milk is sleeping. Those things were so important to her. Now, other recommendations that I would make is you could offer like a sippy cup or a bottle or something, depending on where you're at with bottles, of milk during the night if you wanted to offer that instead. Some children may or may not be okay with that, like they may accept that, and some children it may make them angry, like they might get angry at the bottle. So that's totally up to you. Try it, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, just leave that be. The other thing that I did was I did offer cuddles. So if she woke up in the night, whether it was up to me whether I wanted to let her into the bed and snuggle with me to go back to sleep, or sometimes what I would do is just get up and snuggle with her in her bed. She always has slept in a bed like in our room so that I could access her easily and so she could feel comforted. So, you know, I might go down on her floor bed and comfort her and snuggle her until she goes back to sleep, or I might let her up in my bed. Like even to this point, she's 3.5. If she wakes up and comes into my bed during the night now, I tell her, we're gonna have snuggles for a minute and then you're gonna get back in your bed. And we will sit there and I'll just cuddle her for 1 to 2 minutes, and then until I can feel her body relaxing again. And then I say, okay, let's go get in your bed, I'm gonna tuck you in. And then she will happily, on her own, go back into her own bed. I tuck her in, I might hold her hand for a second. She really likes that. She likes the hand holding, that comforts her. And then she will go back to sleep in her own bed. So there you have it. That's how we weaned off of the night feeds, but we are still breastfeeding as much as we want to during the day successfully. I hope that this helps some of you mothers out there. Remember, the most important things is to tell them that the milk is going to sleep. Make sure that they're old enough that they can understand that concept. The other thing was the visual cue of the sunrise for her to know that that's when it would be available again. And then lastly, make sure to offer some sort of substitute, whether they want to accept a bottle or a sippy cup with some warm milk in it during the night, or if they will just accept some cuddles from you and then go back to sleep. Offer them some sort of comfort. They are still little. If you remember what it's like, I know I do, to wake up in the middle of the night as like a really young child, you feel a bit scared and unsure of your surroundings, and so they just need some comfort. Whether you offer that with your cuddles, with a bottle, whatever works for you and your child, then use those tools. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you click the red subscribe button down below, and I would love to hear from you other parents in the comment section below, because I know some of my other parenting related videos have been really helpful, really well received in the past. So I would love to hear some of your feedback on this video as well, and also other parenting tips or topics that you might like me to discuss in the future. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and we'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye!